Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Single Chronicles. Today I have not a dating horror story, not a confession, but an Ask an Insomniac question. And this one actually broke my heart. It's not too many stories that I get that kind of hit me here, but this one is. So if you're new here, make sure you heart or save or bookmark this podcast wherever you're streaming at so you'll be notified of future episodes. If you're listening and watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, comment, hit the bell. There's a bell. Hit that. You'll be notified when I get videos and stuff, and you'll be in the know. And that commenting part, it helps. The algorithm, all that good stuff. It helps me, helps you, helps everybody. Don't forget, I'm also on Patreon too. So I'm going to be uploading exclusive content. So y'all get to subbing on that because I don't want you guys to miss anything. For everyone else, welcome to the Single Chronicles. Hey. Missing someone. Okay, guys. So like I said, I do get messages on my inbox. Apparently you can send stuff on Spotify now, Quora, anywhere I am. If you see Drunken Insomniac Writer, you need to send me something. Just send it. I'll find it eventually. If I don't get to you within like a couple of weeks, you may want to hit me up on Instagram or at least via email. But anyway, back to this. This was sad, and I'm going to keep it lighthearted because a part of it is a very sad thing. But when I discuss it in detail, and I want to give a disclaimer before I begin this show. Now, this episode, if you are experiencing any type of depression, any type of feelings of loss or hopelessness, that you feel your only option is to take your life, do not. There are places you can call and there are places you can go. Do not ever feel like you have no help. Shit, call me. I don't give a fuck. Just call me. Excuse my language. But anyway, today's episode is Ask an Insomniac question, and it broke my heart in so many reasons because it's about parenting and narcissistic single parents and just single parents in general. It's hard. As a single parent, it is very fucking hard to do. And it doesn't matter why you ended up a single parent. It could be a baby daddy, baby mama situation, which I fucking hate that term. Or it could have been, the marriage ain't work out, the relationship ain't work out, the co-parenting situation isn't going as well as planned. Whatever the case might be, not every single situation where a woman is alone with a child or even a man is not cookie cutter. Now, a couple weeks ago, I did talk about the baby mama is like a narcissist. I did discuss that. This week, I am going to talk about something slightly different. This is actually a question I got from a child. She just kept it short and sweet. She's not even a kid, but she's young. She's under 21. So anyway, and I didn't even know that was my demographic, but hey, it is what it is. If I can help, I'm gonna help. It says, "Dear Rose, I live with my mother and she is very toxic. What can I do to deal with her? She makes me feel really bad all the time. And sometimes I don't know if I want to keep living. My father does not live with us. And even though I ask, can I move with him? It never goes anywhere. I feel that he doesn't care I exist either." Okay, another disclaimer. I am not a licensed psychologist, and I have my fucked up shit that I'm dealing with too. But I recognize a plea for help when I see one. And not just, I think when people usually send me messages like this, or they comment shit like this, or they say stuff like this to random ass people. I've had random people say stuff like this to me all the time. And I don't know, maybe I have one of those faces or voices or something that people just feel okay telling me shit. you know, and sometimes I do it too. I overshare. It happens. And that's usually a sign. That's a trauma response. When you find a voice or outlet of someone that you don't know, and she probably heard one of my messages. I don't know what made this poor child reach out to me. And I don't know her personally. That's what makes it even more scary. My thing is when you find an outlet, you're like, we hold on to it. So I know that I did respond to her right away, and I told her, I said, there are numbers. I gave her some numbers because she's not in the Philly area, so it was kind of hard to kind of give her the name of nonprofits that I personally know. But I did give her some numbers and some resources, and I said, you want to reach out. Now her dad does live here in Philly, so she knows the area. It's not like she doesn't know Philly at all. But her mother, where she lives at, is the toxic one. And we see that a lot. And I'm not trying to like come down on single moms or whatever, but we have a hard time compartmentalizing our fucking stress. And we don't know it, but somewhere psychologically, wherever in the back of our heads, we are taking out our frustrations on the person that parented our children with us on those particular children. And we don't even fucking realize it. Now, I've gone on TikTok and I've seen stories about like parents and shit. There was this trend where the girl says, tell me you were the least favorite child without telling me you were the least favorite child. And the stories that people stitched to that girl video, holy shit, yeesh. Whew, I thought I had it bad. Anyway, back to this. Young lady, like I told you the day that I found this message, hold strong. That's number one. Number two, um, save your money. Get the fuck out of that house. Because what's going to happen is when you get older and you get more financial responsibilities, it's going to get harder and harder to get away. Trust me. If you want to go away to a college that's far away, fucking go. If you want to go stay, if your dad is not being the one that's helping you out of this situation, reach out to other relatives. There are places you can go. Now, I don't know your financial situation all the way, and you didn't really tell me that, and that's fine. But whatever it is, considering you don't have any small children to drag along, get the fuck out. Some people, and it's not even a runaway situation, and I'm not trying to condone this, but get the fuck out. Because if your parent is making you feel this bad, and sometimes, you do get some people that over exaggerate some shit. They be like, oh, my mother took my iPhone away, so I hate my life. But this wasn't one of those situations. And I did let her know that I was going to share my response. I'm not going to share the detailed specifics of why she feels this way, but it is definitely warranted and it is definitely valid. So I'm not going to share those personal responses. And I promised her I would not. But with this being said, this is a situation where this child needed help. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to help. And then I'm going to take the same advice that I gave her to someone else. And hopefully whoever's listening to this, whether it's a child or a parent, you might not even want to recognize that you're the problem. You might not want to acknowledge it. You might want to think you're on this other cloud or horse or whatever the fuck. That's fine. I don't care. That's on you. But you need to acknowledge that there is a problem. So first and foremost, find yourself a man. I hate to say that that's what some people need, because I'm all about preaching love, happiness, finding yourself, loving yourself, and all this other good stuff. I'm all about preaching that because, on your own before you jump in a relationship. But some people, you need a man or woman or a hobby or something. Go find some shit for you to do and stop ragging on your fucking kids. Like, one thing I can say about this generation of children, this Gen Z, whatever the hell they are, because that's what my daughter is, I guess, is Gen Z. But one thing I can say about them is that they are highly aware of a lot of shit, more so than my generation was, because Gen X and millennials, especially Gen X, we were raised by fucking boomers, and, those people really don't understand the gravity of everything right now. They don't understand that we are suffering and paying a price as a result of the shit that they did or didn't do. And on top of that, They gaslight us. So like if we sit up there and like some people say, oh, when I was your child, when I was your age, I did this and I did that and I had this and I had that. And don't get me wrong, I did that with my child. I had to fucking stop doing it. And I didn't realize how toxic it was because the problems that I have now are not the problems that she had. Well, the problems I had back then are the same problems that she has. And yeah, there are going to be some similarities, obviously, because we grew up in a similar environment, yada, yada, yada. And that's my child and I'm a woman and black, but we're going to have similarities. There's going to be some shit that she's going through now that I went through that I can understand and relate to. But then there's going to be some things that I can't relate to because the times have drastically changed. Just like there's some shit that I won't relate to that my mother or my grandmother even went through because first of all, that day and age that they grew up in, my mother grew up in the 60s and my grandmother grew up, around World War I and World War II. Well, she was born around World War I and she was raised around World War II. Like she was living her like she was in her 20s. You know what I mean? So like when I was my daughter's age, it was the late 90s, early 2000s, totally different mind, totally different world. The things that are opening out now weren't so much back then, and so forth. We've come a long way in terms of expressing ourselves. I don't know if the shutdown helped that a little bit because people were able to just share their expressions as opposed to just sharing it with their friends, but they were able to connect. Now, don't get me wrong, that kind of got out of whack, but that's not the point. Anyway, back to this. These kids are self-aware and they know that something is not the fuck right. Now, when I was coming up, I'm not gonna lie, I love my mother dearly, but we're at a point where I can't really interact with her too much because she has things that she has not dealt with, and I didn't realize it until I was grown. But she did have some toxic things that I was exposed to that, and later in life now, like probably the last couple of years, I didn't realize, oh, parents ain't supposed to do that, and da 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 da. Oh, that's why. Oh, this yada yada yada. So, like not that long ago, I actually had an argument with I didn't have an argument. She just spazzed out on me. She wanted me to do some shit for it, and I was like, huh? Like it just came out of nowhere, and my mom is one of those types of people where if I don't do something for her, or if you don't do what she wants when you want her to do it, then throw all the cards on the table. You about to get cussed out. So that happened. And then she was just like, you don't never cook for me, do this, do this. And I'm like, never is a really strong word. I may not do it as often as you like, but I do it. And another thing, we're not entitled to do everything for our parents because they're our parents, especially when your children become adults and they have children of their own. My responsibility is to my family. If I'm married, it's to my spouse and my child. It is not to stop what I'm doing and do for you all the time. And this is now this girl particular, this is where she's fucking headed. And I can tell her that. And I told her that. I said, this is what's going to happen over the next course of the few years if you don't leave. Is it going to be easy? Fuck no. Do what you got to do. You get the fuck out of Dodge, get you a job. Now, everything is really fucking expensive. So it's really, really hard to say, oh, get a job and get a place. But there are places you can go to do what you got to do. Shit, get a GoFundMe something. Get the fuck out, because what's going to happen is you're going to get sucked in emotionally and spiritually, and it's just going to tear you down mentally. Anyway, back to this. So with parents, if you're single and you have children, doesn't matter how old they are, you need to remember something, that your kids are individuals. They have individual feelings, emotions, likes, dislikes. They are individuals. From the moment that they are born, they are individuals. Your child is not going to like everything you like. So you can't make them feel bad for that. For example, a child will grow up afraid to express themselves and feel lost and feel torn. And doesn't matter how good their lives turn out on the surface. But what's going to happen is that if you make them feel afraid to express themselves or invalidate their feelings all the time, what's going to, and I'll tell you how and why that happens, you're going to allow them to be treated like shit by other people when they get older. And I'm going to tell you how this happens. So what happens is when your child is feeling, let's say your child is angry. Doesn't matter what they're angry about. Little kid took the Lego blocks, whatever the fuck it might be. This is a little child. If your child is feeling angry instead of, now you have several options. You can go, once you deal with why they're angry, like the kid took the Lego blocks. All right, let's go tell the little boy mine, whatever. Doesn't matter what you do on the outside. I'm talking about how you interact with that child. If your child is feeling sadness or anger or pain or anything, and you sit up there and say, oh, well, it ain't that bad. Stop complaining. Especially boys. You do that a lot with fucking boys. And that's why these men are so emotionally fucktarded now. So anyway, if you sit up there and you take this child and you're like, oh, your feelings ain't valid. Stop. Boys don't cry. Oh, or you tell your daughters, oh, I went through this, da, 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 it's not that bad. What you're doing is you're telling them that what they're feeling isn't real. It isn't important. And before a child can wrap their minds around what it is you're trying to articulate, because in your mind, their problems aren't that bad. Obviously, some kid taking your Lego block. Okay, you got more Legos. So that's in your mind. You're thinking as an adult. But a toxic parent doesn't see that. They see it as a competition. What they'll say is just, oh, well, such and such took something from me and I didn't get mad. Or such and such took my raise or my promotion. Or, well, your father took this and took this girl and left me to raise you. So you start invalidating their responses. Now you're trying to make them feel like what they're feeling right now isn't important. And that festers. It may not seem like a lot, but that's going to fester into that child whose feelings don't matter right now, or is going to turn into an adult whose feelings won't matter. And then they won't know how to react and treat other people's feelings, or they'll be running around trying to be a people pleaser to any and every fucking body. Now they're growing up with these fucking issues, trust issues, and they don't know how to trust their emotions. They don't know how to handle their emotions. Now, instead of dealing with heartbreak and anger and disgust and all these other things that they should normally be able to just process, deal with, and then come back to with a better solution, or however the case might be, in a positive mindset, they're angry, they're lashing out, they're aggressive, they're feeling bouts of anxiety, and that's how it fucking starts. It might not seem like it now, but that's how it fucking starts. Prime example. Now, if I say, I'm going to take this, here's a penny right here. You see the penny right there? Okay, this penny weighs nothing, right? It's nothing, right? If eventually, let's just say, here's my mask. Okay, I'm gonna open my mask up. I got it in here. If I put this penny in this mask, nothing, right? It ain't nothing. Yeah. Let's just say I get another penny and another penny and another penny and another penny. Every day for every year, I'm throwing a penny in here. That's every emotion that's been invalidated. That's every feeling that doesn't meant to be made important. That's every emotion that wasn't trusted or expressed, or whatever the case might be. Eventually, it's going to break through. And then you couple that with the fact that we don't have healthy therapy in our communities. And I can't talk about other communities, but we don't have healthy therapy in a lot of, I want to say underrepresented, because this ain't got shit to do with race. This has to do with class, a little bit of classism, and, because some people think they can't afford it or whatever, or they might not get the best services because they're on public assistance, whatever. But the point is that, or we have that mindset that only crazy people do therapy. So now your child this was the Lego block. This is something else. This is a heartbreak. This is this. Constantly. Like I said, these pennies start to add up over the years, and then eventually the barrier breaks, and then now they don't know how to fucking react to shit. Now they're having temper tantrums are turning into full out, blown out, just, I don't know, mass shootings. Who the fuck knows? The point is that when these emotions aren't dealt with early on, they fester. When things fester, they get bad. It's just like if I get a cut and I don't deal with it and it gets infected, and I don't deal with that, and then the infection spreads. What the fuck are you think? I'm gonna go from, I just cut my hand, to now my whole fucking arm need to be amputated because the infection done spread. Emotions are no different than physical things that we go through, that our bodies go through, because your body does a lot of shit. Your brain does a lot of shit when it has to react to stress. Okay? Simple, right? All right, moving along. Kids in these types of situations are made to not trust their emotions, on top of the fact that they're raised to feel bad about having those emotions on top of that. Then if that's not even bad enough, because I got my notes here, sorry. They tend to think that their lives will revolve around this parent and this parent's lack and inability to 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 be a nurturer. So what type of partner you think they're going to gravitate towards? Same type. Abusive, manipulative, toxic. So that's what happens. It happened with me. And it's not to say that these types of parents don't love their children. That's not what this is about. This isn't to make someone feel bad about the choices that they made. This is about recognizing what you did, being accountable for what you did, and not doing it. Not only not doing it again, but making amends for that, moving on and healing. Okay? Because this girl mom could go out and have some kids and have another child, and bam, here we go. But again, I had to talk to the girl and let her know you have to realize that this is a problem so that one or two things don't happen. You don't harm yourself, or you don't grow up to be like that yourself. So that was that. When you make your kids emotionally feel like you gaslight them and make them feel that they need to be responsible for, they can't be responsible for their emotions because your emotions come first, your feelings, your needs, your wants. What happens is now you become a burden on them mentally, sometimes financially or otherwise. And now you feel guilty because you've been led to believe that this is how you're feeling. So when you kind of stray away from that and you cut away, and I said, you're going to feel guilty for leaving. You're going to naturally feel that anyway. You're going to feel scared. You're going to want the person that's supposed to comfort you, that's your mom and your dad. They're not doing it. So now that you feel this, you feel the fear and all that other, now you're going to feel guilt. Like, damn, I shouldn't have left like that. You can't feel guilt because now I'm not saying you got to be disrespectful. Just setting that boundary, saying, look, I can't do this no more. Because first of all, the child is grown anyway. Technically, she's 18. You old enough to vote. I think well, no, you can't buy cigarettes at 18 no more. So now you're at the point where, you know what? I'm out. I'm setting a boundary. Set the boundary before you leave. No, mom, I can't. No, I'm not going to allow you to treat me this way. And if she says, well, you can get out of my house. Okay, I was planning on doing that anyway. So prepare yourself. You got to set that boundary. It's going to be times like there were times when it was things that was asked of me that I couldn't do. No, I remember the first time I actually set a boundary, and I had my mother was taking my car during the pandemic. She didn't have a car, and I was like, all right, whatever. I'm not driving. I'm working from home. I'm getting like 14 Fitbit steps a day. It's not that deep. She putting gas in it anyway. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. So first, my key thingy broke. So the alarm key fob, that was one. I had two. Both of them ended up breaking because the button got pushed all the way in, and I didn't. The people at the dealership was like, "Yeah, that's like $100, like $90, $100 to redo, then reprogram." That was that. Then she took my car without asking it, and I had to take my kid to the doctor to get a COVID test because she was starting school, and because she had an exemption. And I think they were doing this for everybody. And this is before they got the vaccines rolling out. They said everybody that's coming on campus, how many times campus y'all got to test. Then when the vaccine came out, those that had exemptions had to test, and the ones that did get the shot, they didn't. So and that's just the status quo now. But anyway, regardless, my daughter had to get this COVID test, and at that time in 2020, it was hard to get a test. You had to schedule it like a week or so in advance, which we did. We was ready to go. I come out my car going, I'm thinking somebody done stole it. I don't live in the best neighborhood. So I'm like, wait, did the parking authority take my shit? So I was pissed. Not going to get into how that got resolved, but my neighbor ended up taking us, thank God. So then after that, then she crashed my car. So at that point, I was like, no, because she asked after, can I use your car? Or can you take me something? I said, I would take you, but I'm busy. And no, you can't hold my car. I'm sorry. And from that point forward, I kept that boundary because it wasn't that I was being mean. It was the fact that, what else are you going to do to it? So I was just like, no. And I wasn't. And sometimes you have to set that boundary. Be no different if it's anybody else. You can't say, oh, well, that's your parents or that's your this and that. No, sometimes you got to set that boundary and say, fuck, no, I'm sorry. It is what it is. You'll get over it. You'll figure it out. She did mention, and and this is to kind of give context, about kicking out, letting back in, kicking out, letting back in. They're fighting back and forth. And I noticed my mom and my grandma went through that a lot. So stuff like that again. I said, you're going to have to take one of those times as an opportunity, as a door that's open. When one door closes, another one is open. That is your opportunity to get the fuck out of Dodge and go. So she was just like, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to try. So I'm praying for her. I said, keep me posted. Because, again, you ain't got no crazy ass debt. You ain't got no kids. You don't have no financial responsibilities that are that deep. All you got to really do is find a job. And there are places you can go. She Googled some places and she actually found some. I've actually reached out to one of the nonprofits to send me some information for her city. And that was that. Because New Jersey and Philly got a lot in common, share whatever. So anyway, that being said, like I said, this is fucking sad. With parents, again, these are the same parents that grew up and said, well, how are you going to take care of me when I get old? And I remember talking about this because it was a guy named Farrart something and Mr. Lego, they were talking about it. And, it's we don't have that in place, but I think the thing with single parents, we don't realize how much of a detriment having a child by yourself can really, really be, unless you find someone new. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing being a single parent or co-parenting or being a baby mom or anything. What I'm saying is that that means you have to work twice as hard. Let's just exclude the parenting part. Let's just say, you know what I mean? If you didn't have any children at all and you didn't have a partner, what is your plan in place if you get too old to take care of yourself? That's what I'd be asking people. I'm like, don't get me wrong. I don't mind. Like I told my daughter, you put me in a nursing home, or you can have a nurse's aide come into the house. I'm hoping that when I get old, I'm not a physical burden on anybody. That's the last thing I want to be, is a burden. Like, if you do put me in a nursing home, don't put me in the hole in the wall one where like I'm peeing on myself and they don't change my diaper or whatever. Don't put me some hole in the wall. Don't. And wherever you do put me, come and visit. Visit me in the nursing home. Now, I know the option of nursing home thing is not something that, our elders did in the motherland. If that's an option that you don't have to do, if you can live with your adult kids when they get older, that's beautiful. Take care of them. And like, if that's something, if I can live with you and try not to be a burden, totally fine. I'm totally good with that. But it's back to this young lady. You can't allow a person to control your emotions. And when I broke a lot of this stuff down to her and I told her why this is a potential, why her mother may do these things and why her dad is being the neglectful, turning a blind eye, because he probably went through the shit and he like, I don't want to fucking deal with this. And he has a whole new life and he got a whole new kid. So forget him for right now. You can't allow her to make you feel bad. You might have to sleep on a friend's couch. You can't let her make you feel bad. You got to get the fuck out. I already said set a boundary. Sleep on a friend's couch. Once you get away and start your new life and you heal, then you realize why she's suffering, then you can kind of deal with her a little bit better. That's still your mom. So you don't want to just be like, fuck you, mom. You just want to be on some type of time where it's like, all right, I'm good now. And this is what, mom, you need to do because these things that you did wasn't cool. And then maybe, just maybe, you guys can salvage your relationship. And I talked about this before so many times. I don't know why this keeps coming up with toxic fucking moms. If they not being bitter towards the baby, the father, they're being bitter towards the children. It's fucking sad. I'm praying for this girl. I keep saying I'm gonna come back to this topic, and you know what? I am, because it always just rears its ugly head. Little girl. Well, you're not a little girl. Young lady. Don't let her control your emotions. Don't. Trust me, because it's not gonna go away on its own. Even when you get away from her, that feeling of the discord feeling that you have right now is still gonna fester. So you're gonna have to heal from that. But at least now you recognize that what she's doing to you and saying to you is real. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead on over to the Writer's Reflections. And I have a spotlight of the week. So let's do that. Okay, guys. So this week's business spotlight of the week is Mook, MOOK _ Customs. Mook Customs, they do like custom tees, sneakers, you want to get vinyl sides on the wall and doors and stuff. They do that type of stuff too. Matter of fact, the person that does the MK training, this is his other business. So yeah, you definitely want to hit him up. He's really got some good work going on. He's really, really talented. And whatever you need, like even if you're an indecisive person like myself and you don't know exactly what you want, he can kind of coach you through it and give you some ideas, show you his portfolio, and go from there. Now, if you want something simple like just the t-shirts printed, he work with you as far as doing like, however you want to design, like he'll help you with the logo. So he do got some artistic skills. He's not just taking a current picture and scanning it and putting it elsewhere. He's actually doing artistic stuff. So again, I'm going to give you that information. Follow him and check him out on Instagram. It is Mook _ Customs. So this M as in man, OOK as in kick _ customs. I'm sorry. I'm going to put all of that down in the description box, and I'm also going to link the Instagram as well, so you can follow him and reach out to him to say, hey. He takes Cash App and all that other stuff. You can DM for inquiries and pricing. And again, tell him Rose from the Single Chronicles sent you. Matter of fact, speaking of Rose, he did my jacket, the one that's talking as my cardio. So yeah, definitely check him out. All right, Writer's Reflections. Whew. I know that this episode hit me. I started like venting my shit. Oops. I don't want to say shit. Not on the Writer's Reflections. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Single Chronicles. This week's episode hit me maybe because I felt so close to home, and I knew what it felt like to not feel good as a result of another person. And I've seen so many instances where these children are feeling bad. Like, matter of fact, season 1, I played a heartbreaking story of a girl and a mother arguing because the mom thought the girl was sleeping with the dude and with her boyfriend. Turn around, he was molesting her. I just wish that our mothers would nurture us. And I felt really bad for this young girl because even though she kept her message short and sweet, I was still able to connect with her and tell her it won't last forever. And taking your own life is not the solution. Trust me. I tried, and thank the heavens I failed. There is light and love in you, and there's light and love in this world. Please, please do not let anyone, even if it's your parents, make you feel any less of a person, or make you feel doubtful of yourself, or just make you feel bad or negative in any way. Don't. They do not have the right. You are stronger than you know. The fact that you reached out and asked the question of what to do and you asked for help shows how strong you are. And you don't even realize it. It takes a lot of strength and dexterity to realize that something isn't right and that you need help. And I'm glad that I was able to talk and connect with you personally. And unfortunately for my listeners and followers, I do know it kind of sucked that I couldn't share everything because it wasn't my story to share. I was allowed to share some of it, but I didn't want to use this episode to vent because that's what my therapist is for. However, I was this girl at 18, not being able to express myself, my emotions, not being able to express my sexuality, not being able to do a lot of things. And it hurt so bad to the point that I'm happy that I eventually began to heal and realize, okay, maybe I'm not crazy. Maybe I'm not broken. Maybe I'm not damaged. We tend to, as parents, we see the worst in other people. Like, for example, you hate someone that you fell in love with and had a child with, and then things didn't work out, so you hate that person. And then you see someone that is a part of them, so naturally, even if you don't mean it, you take everything out on them, and you don't even realize it. And this has nothing to do with being a narcissist or anything. It's the fact that sometimes we haven't dealt with the pain that the person we was with put us through, so we take it out on the next best thing, and that is their offspring. Couple that with the fact that we are unable to express ourselves, be it feel like the world is bullying us, so we bully someone else that we can bully, someone smaller, someone who's unable to defend themselves, because at the end of the day, we don't know how to stand up to who the real problem is out there. So we take it out on our children. And this just isn't something that mothers do. It's something that fathers do too. They do it to their sons. They do it to their daughters. And it's a toxic cycle. But again, what makes me hopeful for the future is that this newer generation of children who are coming into adulthood now are a little more self-aware. And not only are they not falling for it, but they're catching it. And they're finding the ways to cope with it, deal with it, and heal from it. That's what we got to do next. Heal, y'all. We got to heal. This is the season of healing. And I know the Single Chronicles kind of went in another direction lately, but this is what I created this for. This is where it was always supposed to come to. Loving yourself, healing yourself, talking, expressing, letting it all out in the open. Let it out. You got a toxic parent, a toxic uncle, a toxic aunt, because we talk about, pedophilia and targeting children, and we don't go in the bathroom. There's a trans person, they might bother us, but we don't talk about how much more in danger our children are from people that we know. Trust me, I know that too. So at the end of the day, and this Writer's Reflections Accountability Corner is to both children experiencing this toxicity, set a boundary. But before you do, acknowledge that there's a problem and let the person causing the problem know, like mom, dad, like, yo, this is not right. And the way you're making me feel is not cool. You can discipline your children. Nothing wrong with that. Yeah, discipline your children. Show them right from wrong. But making them feel like they just ain't shit, that's not cool. Excuse my language. I don't like to cuss in the accountability corner. To the children experiencing this, again, you don't have to stay. You don't have to feel those feelings that person is making you feel. You don't. To the parents, do better. That's all I'm going to say. Do better. If somebody calls you on your stuff, instead of finding someone to blame, instead of finding an excuse, do better. And that's all I got to say on that. So, everybody, I want to thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of Single Chronicles. Pardon my hair. I look a hot mess today. I don't care. It was hot outside. Whatever straightened hair style is going. But look, I wore a dress today. I'm girly. So I guess it makes up for it. Anyway, I know that it's already Father's Day has passed. If you're listening to this on Monday, despite when I recorded it, Father's Day has already passed. Dads have gotten their day. That's another thing, ladies. Don't take no credit for these dads out here. Dad, you had your day. Dad, stay down. Anyway, to you fathers out there, especially ones that ain't get nothing, I need you to go to Insomniac Writer Merch. Go to my merch store. Pick anything you want and use the promo code DOPEDADS and get 20% off. Yes, that come out of my pocket. That don't come out of Teespring pocket. That comes out of my pocket. That's my gift to you, Dope Dads. Teespring, okay? Go there, or Insomniac Writer Merch. The link's going to be below, along with the information to Mook Customs, our business spotlight of the week. And yeah, check him out. Check me out. Check the girl out. Save you some money, dads. And that goes for stepdads, uncles, brothers, godfathers. I don't care. Men, use that code, okay? Women, don't you come in there trying to use that code Y'all use the free shipping one. Ship for free. Let the dads have theirs specially. Or use it for a dad. I got some cool stuff in there that dad might like. He might like that activity shirt or that procrastination shirt. You've been asking him to fix that door. He ain't fixed it yet. Let him go. Give him that shirt and say, hey, since you like to prioritize and not and instead of procrastinate like it really is, here's this shirt. Okay, guys, I'm out of here. Thank you so much again for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe again if you're watching on YouTube, and share this video no matter where you're listening to it. If you're listening on Spotify or Apple or anywhere you're streaming the podcast at, share this. There's a share link. Share it with your friends. Interact. Save it and come back. I'll see you next week. Take care, guys. I love you all. But let me leave this on a good note. Be awesome, be you, but above all else, love yourself. All right, I'm out. Sorry this episode went a little long, but I had notes. I thought I was going to be in and out of here. I guess that didn't happen. Anyway, take care.